Okay, here we are at Mystery Bay on the way to Fort Flagler. In the description will be a link to the previous video. Or, you know, the part one, who knows. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. We're leaving. We're headed down to Fort Flagler. People are so cool, right? How you treat people, they treat you. We, you know, continuing the whole projecting reality thing. Hello. Yeah, this lady just pulled up. She just wanted to talk about how beautiful the lighting was out, and people are just so awesome. Okay. Here we go, leaving Mystery Bay. Mystery Bay State Park, Marrowstone Island. Yeah. Oh my God, life is so wonderful, isn't it? When you get all caught up in your head and other people trying to be your version, if you are, we're going to continue the quantum discussion, if you are able to just go with the flow and follow your highest excitement, you will be so happy in every moment. There is so much joy in the world. There's so many joyful people. There's so many people to make smile and people to love. And if you get caught up in other people's versions of you, or them and what they want in their life, or the version of life that even they see themselves living, if you get caught up in that, you kind of lose your sense of, oh my goodness, right? This is so beautiful, wonderful. Life is so great, and people are so freaking awesome. And, you know, if you're wallowing around in your head at certain versions of people, then that becomes your life. Oh, but they said this and they did that, and they want this and they want, well, fucking stop whining. What do you want? Oh my God, look at these. I love it when the trees start to bloom like this. Apple and cherry and all that business. Oof, this is such a beautiful drive. So yeah, oh, well, she don't love me, and she said this, and she said that, and whether it's about your parents, or a job, or a husband, or a past lover, or a future current lover, a relative, anybody, it doesn't matter. If that's who they say they are today, move the F on. Because sitting around trying to reconcile energies and trying to force them to be somebody they were yesterday is really, it's not only a waste of time, but it can cause your body to seize, your stomach to seize, so much stress, and really just a basic will to live and be happy. And then when you actually go, oh, okay, I'm going to feel into the moment, like we're doing today, you go, oh my gosh, there's beautiful trees everywhere. There's lush plants. There's beautiful water. There's smiling, happy people. And it's just beautiful. And, you know, you get out of your head and winding in those thoughts over and over. Because if your every day is like, oh, I wonder what this person thinks. I wonder if they're going to message me. I wonder if they'll love me. I wonder if we're going to talk. Or you even spend hours a day, you know, talking to your lover on the phone. I mean, my God, right? There's a big world out there. So you're kind of just wound up in other people's worlds and not really experiencing who you are. And trying to get the energies to match of what other people say and do and feel is not healthy for you. And by I mean healthy is that, yeah, it can cause acid stomach, it can cause seizing muscles, it can cause so much stress and depression unless you go with the flow. Okay, so if I walk up to a stranger, and we're going to keep with the ketchup example, but you know what I mean. It can mean anything emotional. It can mean anything at any level. And you go, oh, hey, you know, like invite them over to your barbecue. Oh, we got some extra hot dogs. You guys want some? And they use ketchup, and we're all just sitting and visit, and it's great. They're people that have known them 20 years know they don't like ketchup. I don't. So I see them in that moment, in that quantum now, and I love them. I know them. I mean, I talk to them based on that information in that moment. And for me, psychic reading, energy reading, what I feel around them, of whether I'd be around them more. But I don't go over their whole life and say, oh, you didn't used to like hot dogs. You didn't used to like a bun. You didn't like, I don't even know them well enough to go, you did not like ketchup yesterday. And I have a whole bunch of messages that say, you did not like ketchup yesterday. Why do you like ketchup today? And why is it any of my business? If I don't like that you don't like ketchup and I don't want you in my life, then that's for me to decide. But to tell you this whole ketchup story over and over when you're a completely different version of you for you is useless. And again, the ketchup is the example. It could be, you know, someone telling you an experience they had. Like, I mean, I had a profound experience of babysitting when I was a kid, something really interesting happened. And then like 5 years ago, it had been a story my whole life that everybody said, and all of a sudden it never happened. Okay, they didn't remember it. Or you've moved to reality where your kidneys are now up under your rib cage, not in your back. Move to reality where your heart's moved, where the sun's a different color. Oh no, the sun was always that color. Well, people can tell me all day, every day, that it's not true, that I came from a reality with all these things, but I know for sure what I know. And I know what people have said to me. I know what I feel, and it's not my job to try to make people feel different. And it's not my job, like with that guy, with the ketchup example, it's not my job to tell him, even if I seen him again the next day and he's like, oh no, I've never eaten ketchup, I don't like ketchup. And I remember him eating ketchup say it was a weekend, and so we saw him both days of the weekend at a park or something. And it wouldn't necessarily be gaslighting to me. I'd be like, oh, that's a little weird, whatever. Yesterday he had ketchup. I know that for true. But because I'm not his lover and I haven't known him forever and all of that, I don't beat myself up about it or wind myself up or gaslight myself in my head going, oh my God, I'm just tormented because yesterday he liked ketchup and today he didn't. So when it does trigger us with people, that's because maybe we think we're in love with them. Maybe we think we want justice, like with abusers or the bully at school, or maybe we want justice from a boss, or somebody that said something and we want to prove this. And that's what a lot of court cases are about, right? We state everything. You have to prove kind of what happened. But in affairs of the heart, you can lay out everything that was said. But if that person is like, nope, I know I said it, don't feel it today. Felt it yesterday, didn't feel it today? Okay, well, I read energy and I know that that's not really even a possibility. But in quantum reality, it is a completely different version of them. But to me, if it's an actual quantum shift, then there would be no emails, there would be no audios, there would be no proof in this reality. And when in your younger days, when we didn't have all the internet stuff, it's just a he said, she said. But if we really shifted to a reality where they never said those things or ever felt that way, then there wouldn't be all of this proof that they did just yesterday. But whatever residual reality is a proof of how they said they felt doesn't matter. What matters is what they say today. I feel this today. Now, I'm an energy reader, so I know what they really feel. But I can only take them at their word for what they say and move on. Okay, now that is quantum reality, because trying to force people to, isn't it beautiful out? Oh my goodness. To be something they're not, even if you know they are, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. It's gaslighting yourself. It's depressing. It could make you be suicidal. It could make you just go crazy in machinations of trying to justify the energy. And that's what a lot of people do with trying to get justice. You're never going to get justice, okay? There's really no such thing. And especially if you believe that there's no good or no bad. You don't get, isn't it beautiful? Oh my God, North Cascade, oh my goodness. The mountains are huge. They're so snow-capped today. We got the North Cascades. We got the Lower Cascades. On the other side, we just had from Mystery Bay, we had the Olympic. What is this? Oh, yes. Okay. Who needs gas? Anyway, yeah, I lost my train of thought. Okay, so the point is that in each moment, you can have 100% peace if you just trust yourself. And part of that trusting yourself is taking other people's mouth, what they verbally say they feel, regardless of what, let's see, this is single lane, so regardless of what you think they feel, regardless of what they said yesterday, regardless of what your heart feels or what you experienced in any of these examples with any boss, lover, kids, abuser, bully, any example, you take the version they show you today and you move on and you live your life to the version that you know you are. Otherwise, you're seeking justice where there's never going to be justice, because in a quantum reality, things shift all the time, right? So you have to go with that shift. And you might be saying, oh, but they didn't shift. They didn't change. It's just that this person doesn't remember what they said, or they don't want to remember, or they're hiding from it, or they're having an emotional snap or something. It doesn't frickin' matter. Whatever reason, they are a different version of them today than yesterday. Or they're making different choices in this moment than they did in the previous moment. It's really none of your concern. Your job to preserve your own peace of mind is, I'm going to get out and walk here. Your job to preserve your peace of mind is to say, okay, well, that's what you say today, and move on. Find another lover. If it's your mother, say, you can let go of contact, have no contact, because it's crazy making. You'd be like, you know what? If you're going to tell me this different things every day, don't. If it's a boss, you can say, you know what? Okay, yeah. Boss is like, I did not say that yesterday. Or even if you show your boss, I got a bunch of emails. This is what you told me to do yesterday. Oh my gosh, I worked at a cafe here in town. Happened every day. It turned out the woman, I think, was an alcoholic or something. She'd tell me one way to do something. The husband would tell me one way to do something. And then she'd say, she never said it, and he never said it. And just always gaslighting me, right? So you might have all of these proof that your boss said it the day before, but today your boss is like, I didn't say it, and this is how I want you to do it today. So I left that job. And that's what I would recommend you do, because you can't hop, skip, and jump to be a different version of you every day for, a job for any reason. So, why are they doing it? It could be because they are having some sort of a mental break. They don't really know who they are. They don't have the confidence to live in the reality they want to live in. Have they completely changed to a different version of themselves? I don't really think so, because there would be more residual evidence. But also what could be happening is you yourself. So say I'm in the instance with the boss thing. So what if I'm the one that's having so many different things going on emotionally that I'm projecting a different version of that person every day or every few days or every week? So it really doesn't matter who the other person is or who they say they are, who you read them to be. It matters who you are and who you prefer to be. All right, check in the description of this video, and there will be a link to Fort Flagler Drive that I took last week with some music that YouTube won't let me play. And there'll be links to photo albums and stuff. This is going to be in 3 parts because I'm going to get out here and take pictures. I am at the Fort Flagler Park. I'm on the lighthouse side. So this direction I'm pointed now would be kind of like Seattle. Seattle's kind of like over there, and then the North Cascades and stuff are over here. And so there will be a part 3, maybe even a part 4 if I do the drive back. But so yeah, check in the description for some fun links. My email is ReverendCrystalCox@gmail.com if you have any questions or you want spiritual advice on anything. I do Mandela Effect quantum advice. I have worked on a psychic hotline. These topics come up a lot, of like, why doesn't my man love me? Or does my man love me? Or like the other day, like question of, I don't know if he's committed to me. I'm like, oh, well, do you know if you're in a relationship? Well, I don't know if I'm in a relationship. Well, why don't you ask your man if he's in a relationship with you and you guys are committed? So they've spent lots of time, they've been together, but I kind of got psychically that she didn't want to ask because she was afraid of the answer. And I remember last summer before last on the psychic hotline, I'd get that a lot. They'd be dating this guy and they don't know if he's really interested. And I'm like, well, why don't you just ask him? Well, no, they want to call a psychic, pay, big money to call a psychic and ask them, call the psychic hotlines, and then, they pay their people. So I'm not saying I got the big money for it. Why did you go on that tangent? I don't know. But anyway, they'd rather pay me to tell them what their man feels than to ask their man, because they can't stand if the man says no. And they're pushing me to say yes. I don't sugarcoat it. I'm like, look, because I eventually quit the psychic hotline and I still do readings for people and stuff, but it's like, I got that question so much, what is my man thinking? What does my man want? Are we committed, right? Why is he this? Is he cheating on me? Is there the, if you have all these questions, that's not love and that's not fun. That's just constant mind games. And commitment, if you think about like the quantum conversations we're having here on this drive, you can't be committed to anyone else. Not if you, especially if you change your mind and your energy every day. But it's like, oh, I'm so committed to you. But then this day you're like, oh, I changed. Let's use the ketchup example. Well, today I like ketchup, and not as a change, but I've always liked ketchup, and you can't accept that I've always liked ketchup. Why would I want to be around you, and why would I want to be committed to you? It's about me being committed to myself, and if I'm now a version of me that likes ketchup, and you know all the examples it implies there, then I have to protect my own peace of mind and my own happiness and joy by living in a reality where probably people don't know there ever was a reality where I didn't like ketchup. So to move towards what's fun for you each day, whether it's a new lover or to cut off family members or a new job or new school, new training, new town, whatever the reason is, it's your job to protect your own state of mind by letting these people be removed from your life or just going with the flow of who they are today. Which, kind of reminds me of studies before that I used to study about, schizophrenia and multiple personalities and possessions and all of that. Now I know that to be reality shifts, and I know that to be, seeing into other realities, different versions of yourself, different programs, different parasites that can be let go. But back then it'd be, and that's like, living with an alcoholic, right? So one day they're this, and the next day they're that. And not only that, they didn't know. I used to date this woman who lived in Canada, and we'd talk on the phone for hours a day. And I would get all, just like in my late 20s, I would get so wound up emotionally, and I would think it was all real, and we're going down all these lines. The next day, she was a completely different person. Well, no, I don't feel that way. I didn't say that. Turns out every time we talked, she'd been drinking. So she was an alcoholic, and she really was a different version of herself every day based on whatever antidepressants or alcohol or whatever drugs or whatever that, mainstream prescription drugs, whatever. She really was a different version of herself. And so then I had to decide to leave that relationship. But I also was really into her, and I did leave it. I dipped my toes back in years later. Thank goodness I did. But I had no idea that she was sitting there on the other end of the phone drinking the whole time and becoming that I thought the conversation was real, right? And it turned out she kind of was a blackout drunk. She didn't even remember all this undying love and I want to marry you and I want, I feel this way and this is who I am, whether it's spiritual or love or where I want to live or whatever. She would do that, and then come to find out she'd be like, after work, she'd have like 6 beers on the phone with me. And I didn't know that. I kind of know it now. I've had it happen again recently, probably within the last 8 years. I say recent because that was like 15 years ago. But where this gal I talked to, she was like so into me and just really in love with me and kept talking about different ways of building a life and just who she is at her core. And then when she was the next day, it'd be different. And it's almost like, yes, she didn't remember saying it, or she kind of vaguely remembered, or she'd look at the Facebook messages and she'd kind of remember saying it. But at the same time, she really was a completely different version of herself because she wasn't, isn't that beautiful? Because she wasn't drinking. And I didn't know she's sitting there drinking a whole frickin' bottle of wine while we're talking. And so I kind of recognize it more now, the alcohol stuff, but it could be anything that could do that. It's your job just to decide whether you want those people in your life or not. All right, I'm going to go out and get some pictures. Check in the description for links, and I love you. And I send you a healing, whoever you are. Goddess bless you.